The storm struck Millbrook with a ferocity that no one had expected. What had started as light rain in the afternoon had escalated by evening into a torrential downpour that flooded streets and knocked out power lines throughout the small town. Marcus Thompson stood at his front door, watching the water cascade from his roof gutters in steady streams, when he heard the sound that would change everything. At 31, Marcus had grown accustomed to handling emergencies on his own. As a single father working 2 jobs to support his 6-year-old daughter Emma, he had learned to be resourceful and self-reliant. His modest 2-bedroom house was nothing fancy, but it was warm, dry, and filled with the kind of love that makes a house a home. Emma sat on the living room floor behind him, playing quietly with her stuffed dog while the storm raged outside. The knock on his door was barely audible over the rain, but Marcus heard it and immediately felt concerned. Nobody should be out in weather like this, especially not at 9 o'clock at night. He opened the door to find a young woman standing on his covered porch, completely soaked and shivering uncontrollably. She appeared to be in her mid-20s, with long dark hair plastered against her head and shoulders. Her beige dress clung to her frame, and she had clearly been caught in the storm without proper protection from the elements. What struck Marcus most was not her bedraggled appearance, but the look of genuine desperation in her eyes. "I am so sorry to bother you," she said, her voice trembling from cold and exhaustion. "My car broke down about a mile from here, and I have been walking in the rain for over an hour. I saw your light and hoped someone might be able to help me." Marcus did not hesitate. "Of course. Come inside right away. You are soaked through." He stepped back from the doorway, ushering her into the warmth of his home. "I do not want to impose," the woman said, even as she stepped gratefully out of the rain. "I just need to call a tow truck or maybe a taxi to get to a hotel." "In this weather?" "Nothing is going to be running tonight," Marcus said, grabbing a clean towel from the linen closet. "Here, dry off a bit. I am Marcus Thompson, and that is my daughter Emma." Emma looked up from her toys with the natural curiosity of childhood. "Hi. You are really wet. Did you fall in a puddle?" The woman managed a small smile despite her distress. "Something like that. My name is Victoria." "Nice to meet you, Victoria," Marcus said, noting that she had not offered a last name but not wanting to pry. "Look, you cannot go anywhere in this storm. The roads are flooded, and even if they were not, it would not be safe. You are welcome to stay here tonight. We have a couch that is quite comfortable, and I can throw your clothes in the dryer." Victoria looked surprised by his immediate offer of hospitality. "That is incredibly kind of you, but I could not possibly accept. You do not even know me." "I know that you are cold, wet, and stranded," Marcus replied matter-of-factly. "That is enough for me. Emma, can you show Victoria where the bathroom is so she can change into something dry?" Emma jumped up enthusiastically. "Come on, Victoria. Daddy has really good towels, and maybe you can wear one of his big shirts until your clothes are dry." As Victoria followed Emma down the hallway, Marcus could not help but notice how naturally she interacted with his daughter, speaking to her with genuine interest rather than the patronizing tone some adults used with children. There was something about Victoria that suggested she was accustomed to being around young people, perhaps as a teacher or caregiver. When Victoria emerged from the bathroom wearing one of Marcus's oversized work shirts and a pair of his sweatpants, she looked more relaxed but still somewhat overwhelmed by his kindness. Her long hair was wrapped in a towel, and without the stress lines of cold and exhaustion, Marcus could see that she was quite beautiful, with intelligent eyes and an expressive face. "Your clothes are in the dryer," Marcus said, handing her a cup of hot tea. "They should be ready in about an hour. Are you hungry?" "I was just about to make Emma some grilled cheese sandwiches." "I do not want to be any trouble," Victoria said, but Marcus could hear the gratitude in her voice. "No trouble at all. We always make extra anyway, right Emma?" Emma nodded seriously. "Daddy makes the best grilled cheese. He cuts the crusts off and everything." As they sat around Marcus's small kitchen table sharing the simple meal, Victoria began to relax enough to engage in conversation. She asked Emma about school, her toys, and her favorite activities, showing genuine interest in the little girl's answers. Marcus found himself impressed by how naturally Victoria fit into their evening routine, helping clean up after dinner and even reading Emma a bedtime story when the little girl requested it. You are very good with children, Marcus observed as they returned to the living room after tucking Emma into bed. Do you work with kids? Victoria hesitated for a moment before answering. Not professionally, but I have always enjoyed spending time with young people. Emma is delightful. You have done a wonderful job raising her. Thank you. It has not always been easy doing it alone, but she makes everything worthwhile. What happened to her mother, if you do not mind me asking? Marcus settled into his worn armchair and considered how much to share. She left when Emma was 2 years old. Said she was not ready for the responsibility of being a parent. It was difficult at first, but honestly, Emma and I are better off without someone who did not want to be part of our family. Victoria nodded with understanding that suggested she had experienced her own share of family complications. Emma clearly adores you. Children know when they are truly loved and valued. What about you? Marcus asked. Do you have family nearby? Victoria's expression became guarded. It is complicated. I have family, but we do not see eye to eye on many things. I was actually traveling to visit a friend when my car broke down. Marcus sensed there was much more to Victoria's story than she was sharing, but he respected her privacy. People had their reasons for being cautious about personal information, especially when they found themselves dependent on the kindness of strangers. As the evening progressed, Marcus found himself genuinely enjoying Victoria's company. She was intelligent and well-educated, able to discuss everything from current events to literature to child development with insight and thoughtfulness. But what impressed him most was her complete lack of judgment about his modest circumstances or the obvious signs that he was struggling financially. Marcus, I want you to know how grateful I am for your kindness tonight, Victoria said as they prepared to settle in for the night. Most people would not open their homes to a complete stranger, especially someone with a child to protect. Most people have not found themselves in situations where they needed help from strangers, Marcus replied. I have been there, and I know how important it is when someone is willing to extend a hand. The next morning, Marcus woke early to prepare breakfast before leaving for his construction job. He found Victoria already awake, sitting at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee and looking out the window at the aftermath of the storm. Her clothes were clean and dry, and she had somehow managed to style her hair despite not having her usual supplies. Good morning, Marcus said quietly, not wanting to wake Emma. How did you sleep? Very well, thank you. Better than I have in weeks, actually. There is something peaceful about your home. Marcus began preparing pancakes, a weekend tradition that he had continued even on this Wednesday morning in honor of their guest. The tow truck should be able to get to your car this morning. I called Peterson's garage, and they said they would send someone out around 9. Victoria looked surprised. You called a tow truck for me? Of course. Pete Peterson is a good guy, and he will take care of you. If your car needs major repairs, he is honest about pricing and timing. As they ate breakfast together, Emma chatted happily about her plans for the day and asked Victoria questions about where she was from and what she did for work. Victoria answered Emma's questions with vague but kind responses, clearly practiced at deflecting personal inquiries without seeming rude. When the tow truck arrived, Marcus walked outside with Victoria to meet Pete Peterson and assess the situation. Victoria's car was indeed a nice one, Marcus noticed, though not ostentatiously expensive. Pete examined the engine and determined that the problem was a failed alternator, complicated by water damage from driving through flooded roads. I can have it fixed by tomorrow afternoon, Pete told Victoria. It is going to run about $400 for parts and labor. Marcus saw Victoria's face tighten slightly at the cost, and he wondered if she was having financial concerns. $400 was a significant amount of money, especially for unexpected repairs. That sounds reasonable, Victoria said. I will need to arrange to stay somewhere else tonight, though. Nonsense, Marcus said immediately. You are welcome to stay here another night. Emma would be thrilled, and honestly, it has been nice having adult conversation in the evenings. Victoria looked at him with an expression that combined gratitude with something deeper, as if his simple kindness had touched something in her that had been missing for a long time. Are you sure? I do not want to impose on your hospitality any longer than necessary. You are not imposing. You are welcome here for as long as you need. That evening, As they sat together after Emma's bedtime,